Fame in Hollywood is never really permanent, but most people who lose it do so slowly: fewer roles, smaller projects, a gradual quiet. For the people on this list, the exit was anything but quiet. One tweet, one viral video, one too many public meltdowns, or a reputation so thoroughly cemented that no casting director wants to take the risk. These are 8 sitcom stars who were once at the very top of the television world and are now, for one reason or another, sitting by a phone that stopped ringing. Here are 8 sitcom stars nobody wants to hire anymore. The tweet that ended everything in hours. For 9 seasons in the late 1980s and 90s, Roseanne Barr starred in one of the most important sitcoms ever made. Roseanne was not just popular, it was genuinely groundbreaking. The first show of its era to center a working-class American family without turning their financial struggles into a punchline. Barr was its engine, its writer, its producer, and its public face, all at once. The show ended in 1997, and for 2 decades, the reruns played, and the legacy held. In 2018, ABC brought it back. The reboot premiered to extraordinary ratings, reportedly around 27 million viewers for the first episode, a number that almost no television launch had hit in years. ABC immediately renewed it for another season. Advertisers were lined up. It looked, by every available measure, like one of the more improbable second acts in television history. It lasted 9 episodes. On May 29, 2018, Barr posted a tweet comparing Valerie Jarrett, a black senior advisor in the Obama administration, to an ape. The tweet went viral instantly. Within hours, ABC President Channing Dungey issued a statement calling it abhorrent, repugnant, and inconsistent with our values, and canceled the show. Barr was dropped by her talent agency, ICM Partners, the same day. Consulting producer Wanda Sykes publicly quit. Her co-stars condemned the post. All of it happened in less than a single news cycle. The network salvaged the show as a spin-off called The Conners, killing off Barr's character and continuing without her. By most reports, Barr was furious and has remained so, suggesting in subsequent interviews that she was set up, that the network had been looking for an excuse, and that her life's work was stolen from her. More than 7 years later, according to people close to the situation, no television network or studio of any significance has called the man who burned every bridge on the way out. In the spring of 2011, Charlie Sheen was the highest-paid actor in American television, earning a reported $1.8 million per episode of 2.5 Men. He was also, at that precise moment, in the process of dismantling his career with a speed and thoroughness that Hollywood had rarely seen. It began with a series of phone calls, radio appearances, and interviews in which Sheen publicly attacked 2.5 Men creator Chuck Lorre, using language that was profane and, in places, anti-Semitic. He called Laura a clown, a stupid little man, and told a TMZ interviewer, "I own him." CBS halted production and eventually fired him. What followed was Sheen's self-described Torpedo of Truth tour, a live show that sold out venues in hours, then emptied them with shocking speed once audiences realized the show had no discernible content. In Detroit, the crowd booed. Some demanded refunds. For years after, mainstream Hollywood stayed away. He launched Anger Management on FX in 2012, which ran for 100 episodes but was widely considered a lesser version of everything he had done before, and ended when he had his co-star fired via text. In 2015, he publicly disclosed an HIV-positive diagnosis. Legal disputes, multiple lawsuits from former partners, and years of financial decline followed. By 2025, something had begun to shift. A Netflix documentary titled Aka Charlie Sheen spent 3 weeks in the platform's global top 10. A memoir became a New York Times bestseller. He signed with the major agency WME for the first time in over a decade. Whether the industry's door is truly reopening or simply opening wide enough for him to be viewed from the outside remains to be seen. The teen idol who chose God over Hollywood. Kirk Cameron was one of the most famous teenagers in America. From 1985 to 1992, he played Mike Seaver on Growing Pains, the charming, slightly rebellious older son of a Long Island family, and was one of the defining faces of 80s teen television. He had posters in millions of bedrooms. He was on magazine covers. He was, by any measure, a star. He was also, quietly, in the process of becoming someone the entertainment industry had no idea what to do with. At 17, Cameron became a born-again Christian. The transformation was genuine and total. He began refusing scenes that involved premarital sex, coarse language, or anything he felt conflicted with his faith. Writers had to rework scripts around his objections. 11 writers, as he himself recalled, sometimes had to come up with entirely new material because he wouldn't do what was written. He has been candid about the fact that his focus shifted away from the show and from his castmates entirely. After Growing Pains ended, Cameron had a brief WB sitcom called Kirk, which ran for 2 years and then largely vanished from secular Hollywood. He has since built a career in Christian filmmaking and evangelical activism, starring in the Left Behind series, producing faith-based films, hosting Christian television programming, and most recently, fighting public library systems across the country that declined to host story hours for his children's book. In 2012, he told CNN's Piers Morgan that homosexuality was unnatural, detrimental, and ultimately destructive. Comments that generated significant backlash, including from his former Growing Pains co-stars. Cameron himself has said he has no regrets and does not feel he has missed out. He has a long marriage, 6 children, and a company making projects he believes in. Mainstream Hollywood, for its part, has not exactly been banging down his door. The child star, who told his fans to stop watching. When Angus T. Jones joined the cast of 2.5 Men at age 10, he was playing Jake Harper, a sweet, slightly dim kid who became one of the most beloved supporting characters on American television. By 17, he was the highest-paid child actor in the country, reportedly earning around $300,000 per episode. By 19, he was sitting in front of a camera for a Christian organization, telling his audience that 2.5 Men was filth and begging them, with visible urgency, to stop watching it. The video spread overnight. Jones called himself a paid hypocrite for continuing to take the network's money while privately believing the show was harmful. His co-star John Cryer described the situation as extremely awkward. Jones apologized to the cast and crew for any hurt caused, though notably not to the millions of viewers he had directly asked to stop watching. CBS downgraded his role to recurring status for the following season. He did not appear in the season at all. When the show ended in 2015, he came back for a brief cameo in the finale. After that, he essentially disappeared. He enrolled at the University of Colorado at Boulder, changed his major several times, and eventually became involved in a media and events company. In 2016, he expressed interest in returning to acting. It has not happened in any meaningful way since. He made a brief cameo on Chuck Lorre's Max series Bookie in 2023, in a scene alongside Charlie Sheen, which drew modest attention. He has described his thinking during that period of departure as having gotten pretty doomsday. He was right that it cost him. The career he walked away from at 19 has not been waiting for him to come back. The woman who was called difficult for telling the truth. Katherine Heigl spent years being one of the most talked about women in Hollywood, first for how good she was, then for how difficult she allegedly was. Her role as Izzy Stevens on Grey's Anatomy earned her an Emmy Award in 2007. The following year, she became one of the most prominent examples in recent Hollywood history of what happens when a woman says exactly what she thinks at the wrong moment, in the wrong place. In 2008, Heigl publicly withdrew herself from Emmy consideration for the show's 4th season, releasing a statement explaining she had not been given material that season strong enough to warrant a nomination. The statement, which she has since described as poorly timed and poorly handled, was widely interpreted as an attack on creator and showrunner Shonda Rhimes and the show's writers. The following year, on The Late Show with David Letterman, she described Grey's Anatomy's filming schedule as cruel and mean, saying she hoped the comment would embarrass the producers. It did more than embarrass them. It effectively ended her relationship with the show, and the fallout extended well beyond it. The difficult label attached itself to Heigl and followed her into every subsequent meeting. Film offers dried up. The romantic comedy career she had built alongside Grey's Anatomy stopped producing hits. She has since described feeling shamed into a version of herself so quiet and deferential on set that she essentially disappeared. "I hit 40 and I went, forget this," she has said. Life is really too short. Her co-star Ellen Pompeo later defended her publicly, saying Heigl had been ahead of her time and would be considered a hero if she said the same things today. Heigl has largely moved to Utah, started a dog food brand, and by most accounts lives a life she describes as genuinely happy. Hollywood, as a machine, has never quite forgiven her for being right. The bad girl Hollywood couldn't quit punishing. Shannon Doherty was 20 when Beverly Hills 90210 made her one of the most famous faces on American television. She played Brenda Walsh, smart, stubborn, and frequently the most interesting person in any room, and the show was a cultural phenomenon almost immediately. She was, in the words of a People magazine cover story, Hollywood's iconic bad girl of the 90s. The reputation that phrase described would follow her for decades and cost her more than she could have imagined. The stories about Doherty on the 90210 set were everywhere. Habitual lateness, arguments with co-stars, physical altercations. Executive producer Charles Rosen said publicly that her lateness was appalling. She left the show after the 4th season under circumstances that were never entirely clarified. Though co-star Tori Spelling's loaded comment to TV Guide, "Shannon knows why she will not be on the show next year," made clear the departure was not entirely voluntary. She was then cast in Charmed in 1998, and the cycle repeated. 3 seasons in, she was reportedly pushed out again, this time following what her co-star, Holly Marie Combs, has described as an ultimatum from Alyssa Milano to the network. By the early 2000s, Doherty was playing smaller and smaller roles, taking work where she could find it. What has since emerged, from multiple co-workers speaking with more care than they once did, is a picture of a woman who was strong-willed and technically skilled and deeply committed to her work, and who was held to a standard of patience and deference that no equally difficult male actor of the same era was ever asked to meet. Doherty was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2015. She died in July 2024 at age 53. In the months before her death, she was recording a podcast, attending conventions, and being celebrated by the fans who had always loved Brenda Walsh, whether Hollywood had or not. The comedian, whose legacy he couldn't outrun. Roseanne Barr's story is partly about a single tweet, but it is also about something larger: the question of whether a career and a legacy can survive the full weight of the person who built them. Barr did not lose her show because she was unknown or unimportant. She lost it because she was both. Famous enough that the tweet was news within minutes, and associated closely enough with the show that the show could not survive the association. What makes the story worth sitting with is the gap between the two Roseannes. The Roseanne of the original run was a genuinely radical figure in American television. A working-class woman who refused to be made polite or photogenic by the network, who insisted on storylines about financial stress and family dysfunction that most sitcoms of the era avoided. She was difficult to work with by every account, but she was also right about what the show needed to be. And the show was better because of her stubbornness. The Roseanne of 2018 was that same person, 3 decades older, and operating in an information environment that had no mechanism for the kind of mistake she made. There was no editorial delay. There was no overnight reconsideration. There was a tweet, and there was a cancellation. And there was a network that had its answer ready before the morning was over. She has since said she lost everything, and that she horribly regrets it. She has also, in other interviews, suggested that what happened was partly orchestrated, and that the real reason she was removed was political, not racial. Both things can be simultaneously true and irrelevant to each other. What she has not done, in 7 years of media appearances, political commentary, and touring shows, is return to anything resembling the career she once had. The star whose reputation preceded him everywhere. The name Chevy Chase has, in certain corners of the entertainment industry, become something close to a cautionary tale. He was one of the original cast members of Saturday Night Live. He was the star of the Vacation franchise and one of the most recognizable comic faces of the 1980s. He was cast on Community in 2009, playing Pierce Hawthorne, an older, politically incorrect member of a study group, and proceeded to make the production of that show miserable for everyone around him in ways that have been documented at extraordinary length. He reportedly walked off set without filming scenes. He reportedly couldn't access the emotional core of the character, and by showrunner Dan Harmon's account, didn't particularly want to try. At the Season 3 wrap party, Harmon stood up and led the assembled crew in a profanity-laced farewell directed at Chase. Chase called Harmon afterward, left a voicemail that became legendary when Harmon played it at a public event, and which subsequently leaked online. It was, by almost universal agreement, a spectacular piece of recorded audio. What is striking about Chase's career arc is the timeline. Director Chris Columbus, who went on to make Home Alone and the first 2 Harry Potter films, was offered National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation in the late 80s, a film built around the character Chase had made famous. He had 2 meetings with Chase and was so rattled he called screenwriter John Hughes and said he couldn't do it, walking away from a project he badly needed. That story is from the 80s. The Community meltdown is from 2012. In 2025, A CNN documentary called "I'm Chevy Chase, and You're Not" was released, intended in part to offer a more sympathetic portrait of him. Its most watched clip was a moment where he snapped at the documentary's own director for trying to understand him. The audience largely concluded that nothing had changed. The phone, by most accounts, has stopped ringing.